Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're looking at Artistically Inked. Really love this stamp set, and I thought we would do a Christmas card because we're doing Christmas things at the moment. And I thought we would use some of these flowers to give a pretty sort of Christmassy feel to a card. So I'm starting off with a base of Cherry Cobbler. And then I've got my white, basic white piece is 1/4 inch smaller. So wherever you are, that is going to be your mass and your layer. We're going to start with, I'm just going to take a piece of scrap paper to go underneath because I don't want to make too much mess in here of my grid paper. So I have to rip it off all the time. And we're going to start with, let's start with, the first thing I'm going to start off with actually is the sentiment, because I want to make sure that my sentiment is going to be right in the middle and everything's going to go round it. I'm using one of my favourite sentiments. I've said to you before, I love the font of this. I love the squirrely bits on it. Perfectly plaid, a return from last year. Beautiful stamp set. You've got a punch to be able to punch out all of these lovely trees, but the Merry Christmas on here and the Christmas cheer, my favourites. So we're going to start with Cherry Cobbler because that's our base, and we're going to put this in the centre because that will give us the line up that we need. So let's just put this in as near to the centre as we can. You have to excuse the light on here. I don't think it's probably the best. I'm working with some new lights at the moment, and I'm getting a bit of a shadow on here, so you'll have to excuse that for this one. And hopefully I will get it working a little bit better as I progress. In the winter months, I don't get enough daylight, brightness of daylights to be able to work in my room where I have well, the other side of this room where I have all my natural light. So I'm working in non-natural light and trying to get the right configuration of lights, which I think works, but we'll have to see. Okay, so I'm going to use these big roses on here, and I think I might use this one. So let's try this one first. So this is the big flower, and I'm going to put the big flower in on because it's quite a big bright colour, and my ink pad is incredibly juicy. So I'm going to put this flower just literally in off on one side. So we've only got a little bit of it showing, and maybe a little bit more showing on the other part. Okay, so that's the flower in the Cherry Cobbler, which actually looks quite nice. I think that looks, in fact, you could just have it as a very clean and simple and leave it like that. I'm not going to. I'm going to clean it with my Simply Chamois. Cherry Cobbler is a very, very, very rich, pigment dense colour. So when you're cleaning it off, I will be using my Stampin' Mist as well on this, because even though I've cleaned it with my Simply Chamois, you can still see you get a little bit of a residue because it's such a dark colour. Okay, so now I'm going to take these flowers, and I want colours that are going to sort of mix in with this, but I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use. So I've got the Cherry Cobbler, and I've got the, I think the Polished Pink's going to be too pink. I think maybe that's sort of slightly blue, and I'm going to try the Fresh Freesia if I can get it open. It's just the clicking it out, and I know some people do this click part, but my fingers aren't quite strong enough to do that, so I do have a struggle with them. Okay, and I'm just going to put this one down in on that side, and I'm going to put this one in up on this side, which I think is quite nice. So that's that on there. Then I'm going to take, because I want quite a few leaves, I'm going to take the Highland Heather, which is darker, so I don't need to clean my pad off, and I'm just going to take that down on there and take this one up on there. So we've got two in, which is quite pretty together. I want quite a few leaves and things, so I'm going to, and this is to say, it's a bit of an experiment in colours, but I think we can just about work with them if we try. So I'm now going to take the, I am going to have that polished pink, and I'm going to pop that in, just in on the bottom down here, and then just in on this little bit here, so it just comes in off the side. So we've got this sort of mixture of colours going on, but I think, as I say, I think it will work because we're putting it onto the Cherry Cobbler. So if I take this before we've added any leaves or things on, if I take that on, you can see how it is pulling it together because we've got these sort of colours working. So we're going to carry on with those, and I want some greens. I'm going to use the soft succulent because that's quite a nice darkish sort of grey green, and I think that that will go. These are sorts of grey green colours, so I'm going to do the, I'm going to have one coming through on here, just sort of, I want to try and get it in so that it looks as if it's attached to that one there. That's nice. And then we'll have one on this looking as if it's attached to there. So it's coming out from those. That works quite well. So those are the two with the bigger ones. Do I want to keep the same green? I think I probably do. I'm looking to see whether whether I want to take in the Evening Evergreen or not, or whether I want to keep just using the, I think I do want a different tone, and I think I am going to, let me have a look and see if I can get, hold on, moving some bits out of the way. That's my Evening Evergreen. I'm just going to pull that out because that works very well. Now that's a very dark green, so let me just have a look and see. We want it that way up, don't we? I think that goes that way up. I'm just going to try it out on here first on my scrap. Yeah, I think that that works. We want to have it that way up though, don't we? So I'm just going to move it up here a little bit because we want it up on that one. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a couple in between on these. So we'll have one and a two, which is quite pretty. I don't know whether I've got them the right way up or not. Let's try it that way and see if that looks better that way up. Might do. We'll see. So we'll have another one in down on there and up in on here. Don't think it really matters which way they go. So that's given us a few little pieces in like that. And then we need to, I want to tie all of this sort of together, and we're going to go back to the Cherry Cobbler. So let me just clean this one off. Whoops. That'll do. I want to go back to the Cherry Cobbler, and I also want to, so I want the Cherry Cobbler out, and I also need to have a little bit of a yellow one just to do the inside of those flowers, which will make it look a little sort of poinsettia look. So that's the yellow inside of there. I'm using, it doesn't matter which yellow you use, I'm using crushed curry for this. It's only because I just happened to pull that out first. You could use any of the colours that you want. Okay, so that's, if we put this onto the card, we can then see, onto the base rather, we can then have a little look and see how that is progressing. And you can see that yes, it looks good, but we need just a little bit to tie it all in together. So what I'm going to do is, in this set, I'm going to use the Cherry Cobbler. In this set we've got some nice little sort of spots, and little speckles and spots are very good at just tying things in together. So I'm going to take the Cherry Cobbler, and I'm going to just put a few little spots, particularly up in here because there's more room. I'm going to change the angle of them like that, and maybe one in on there and one in on there, because that's just brought it together, because we're doing that with the Cherry Cobbler, which is going to be the background that we've got. So if I then take, just close this ink pad up, if I then take the, let's move this out of the way, don't want the scrap, so if I take that and put this in on here, you can see how that has just pulled it together a bit. And what you can then do is just to add a little bit of sparkle in there with some embellishments. Let me just get my embellishment pot out. Whoops. Oh, I just knocked that with my head, excuse me. I've got my camera quite low at the moment, so that you can see. Now we've got these ones which are rather nice, which are wonderful gems. Although that's real red, but we could have the gold in on there. Or we could just have some, I think rhinestones would work quite well. So let me just get my rhinestones. I've got quite a few rhinestones, or packets of rhinestones. Oops, let's get that in there. So what I would do is to just take a few of the rhinestones. Have I got my take your pick tool on here? No, I haven't. But before I finished it, I will just put a few little rhinestones and things to just sparkle it up. You could also put some ribbon in, and one of my favourite ribbons to use is, whoops, it's getting up on here, is this, and this is my new one now, which is the metallic mesh ribbon. It's my absolute favourite, and the reason why is because it is very see-through. Now just got to take this off of here because they always put a little bit of a seal in on here, so I need to just take that off. So if you look at this, we could actually take this right the way across the centre or down below. You've still got your Merry Christmas in on there, but you can see through it. So that actually works quite prettily. If you wanted to have this to just go in over the top, you've got that, but you can still see through it, and you've got more twinkle in there as well. So you can jazz it up as much as you want. You can leave it as it is, but it's a very simple 1-layer Christmas card using different sort of flowers that you can have in your bouquets at Christmas time. And I thought it was quite fun. So thank you so much as always for watching. Please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.